gardeners, so today is going to be all about Chancho. You guys voted for my blue-tongued skink to get to know him better, so today's video is going to be all about him, and I'm gonna go ahead and grab him. But for those that are familiar with Chancho, you know that he absolutely hates to be held or touched whatsoever, so it's probably not going to be a very long holding session because you'll see how happy he's going to be about that. So this right here is Chancho, my Indonesian blue-tongued skink, and he's actually kind of brumating right now, so he's a little cold and he's not very active. He's definitely not happy though, and he's definitely still hissing, but this is him. He's super cute. He's getting a lot, yeah, here we go. He's getting a lot bigger, as you can see, so I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he was a little baby. I only got him a year ago, and he's definitely growing and getting much larger lately, but he's very unhappy. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and put him back in his enclosure because he just hates being held. I don't want to stress him out for the entire video. But you're so cute. So Chancho is back in his enclosure and he's very unhappy with me. So I'm gonna have to give him an egg later and hopefully he'll be a little bit happier. So basically when it comes to Chancho, he is an Indonesian blue-tongued skink. He is the classic Indonesian, which is the Teliqua gigas gigas. So basically I got him a year ago. I got him at Tinley from LLL Reptile. And I was under the impression that he was captive bred, which was a huge mistake on my part because I wasn't aware of all of the different subspecies of blue-tongued skinks. I thought there was literally the northerns and the Indonesians. And there are many more. And I made a video on all of the different subspecies of blue-tongued skinks because it's very important to know which one you have because they all have different care requirements and they're all just a little bit different. So it's really important to know which one you have. So if you're interested in that, I'm gonna put the link in my description so you can check that out. But basically, so I thought that he was obviously an Indonesian because he had the black legs. I was aware of that. But I was not aware that Indonesians are, for the most part, like 9 out of 10 times, they're going to be wild caught. And I thought that because he was coming from LLL Reptile, that meant that he would be captive bred. And that's not true because apparently LLL Reptile sells wild caught animals. I had no idea and nothing was labeled on him when I bought him. So I just assumed he was a captive bred animal and that was my mistake. So I brought him home and he's been kind of pretty much the same temperament wise. He just does not want to be touched whatsoever. He hates being held. But other than that, he seems to be very well adjusted in his own enclosure and very happy. He eats like a champ, except now he's in brumation. So because of that, he hasn't really been eating much. I did get him eating a couple of worms recently, which I'm going to put at the end of the video so you guys can see just a couple clips of him being cute. But yeah, he's always been a great eater other than this little brumation phase, which is totally normal. And he's always been very comfortable in his enclosure. He comes out and basks every day. Been a little bit slower because he's brumating again right now. But yeah, so for the most part, he's well adjusted. I was hoping to try and tame him down by handling him more, but it just so overly stresses him out and I just don't like it. So I don't do it as much as I probably should if I really want to tame him down. But honestly, with the Indonesians, what I've seen, like every single person I know that owns an Indonesian blue-tongued skink, they don't like being held. So if you want a blue-tongued skink that you can hold and have a little like puppy dog skink, you should definitely get a northern because they are captive bred first of all, so you're going to get a healthy skink. And they're just used to handling and they're just typically way better of a temperament than an Indonesian. Like, it's so funny because Michelle, my friend who has an Indonesian, she doesn't have the Teliqua gigas gigas though, but it is another subspecies that's an Indonesian, and hers will just pee on her and is very grumpy also. So it's just really funny because the Indonesians just want nothing to do with you. But Chancho is still very enjoyable to own because he is the cutest little thing and he just has so much personality. It's really funny because I'll literally just go to his tank and he recognizes me and he knows that I'm the one that feeds him, and he will just come right up to the glass and be like sticking his little tongue out and sniffing around because he wants food and he knows that I provide it for him. So he just has such expression in his eyes, and I think that's what made me fall so hard for him. Like when I saw him, I just knew I had to have him because of his eyes. He just has these big, beautiful, full of expression eyes. It's just full of so much life, and I just love it so much. So more issues with Chancho because he was wild caught. I was told that he would be treated for mites, and he ended up having mites, and because of that it spread, and Vendetta also had mites, and Bloom, my corn snake, had mites, so that was a lot of fun. Another reason I think that if you ever want any type of reptile, make sure it's captive bred, and if it's at a reptile show, if it's from like a big mass breeder, there's a good chance that it could be wild caught, so definitely check with them and ask before you buy an animal, because there's a lot of health issues involved when you get wild caught, and it's not something you want to deal with. But yeah, so he had mites, and I treated him for that twice actually. He had wood mites, and then he had the parasitic mites. So he is completely treated, and he's been healthy. I'm always like paranoid that he's gonna get mites again, and I'm always checking up on him. But so far he's been great. He's been growing like crazy. He just had a really big growth spurt, and it's hard for me to tell with my animals when they're growing because I see them every day. But he has definitely gotten way bigger, and I can see a noticeable difference in him now. But yeah, Chancho just has a lot of personality. He is the type of skink that I enjoy kind of while he's in his enclosure, because when I take him out, he just hisses and thrashes around and occasionally pees on me, so I don't really like to overstress him. I might work on it a little bit more this summer and take him out and try to hand feed him, but he just gets so stressed out, and it's not really worth it. I just don't want to put him through any like PTSD from like me handling him, because he just associates me with being handled, which is what he hates. So I need to make it either a more positive thing or just let him do his own thing in his enclosure. So I'm gonna show you guys some more clips of Chancho, so that way it's not just me talking for this entire video. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I will be putting up 2 more animals for you guys to choose from, so you can pick your next animal that you would like for me to feature, so you can get to know them a little better. I hope that you guys have a better idea of Chancho now. I know for those familiar with him, you already know that he's like a little spaz and he doesn't like being held, but he's still so adorable and we all love him so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you some clips of him eating, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching.